What's going on, everyone? It's me, Nick. I'm back, and today we're gonna be doing the Bloodborne boss tier list. Now, Bloodborne is an amazing game, phenomenal, and I really do think that it does so many things very well, very well. I mean, just the aesthetic of the game, like the design of, like the architecture and the enemies and monsters, like the whole look and vibe is perfection. And I've never played a game like quite like Bloodborne with the way it looks, how it feels, how it sounds. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The lore is some of the best video game lore of all time. Like the whole aesthetic and vibe that Bloodborne has is perfection. Like it creates such an immersive atmosphere, and I love that the game for that. And it has really fun combat, um some just cool straight horror book, out of the books or comic book looking enemies, but like scary. Like it's a great horror game and a great action game, um, and a great Souls-like game. But, but if I were to complain about something, I think my biggest complaint would be its bosses. Bloodborne's bosses. I'm. This may be a hot take, but um, people say that like Bloodborne, oh, it's probably the best. I hear a lot of people say that Bloodborne's the best from software game, and it's the best Souls-like, and it's the best Soulsborne, to ever exist. I disagree, and my main gripe with it is the bosses. Um, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of peak top tier boss fights in this game. There are plenty of, just phenomenal boss fights. Some of the best boss fights, in all of the genre, in all of gaming history, are in this game. But that's, you know, the select few of them. A majority of the boss fights in Bloodborne are either like mid and forgettable or just straight up bad, like poorly designed and really just like you don't want to ever fight that thing again. Which sucks because Bloodborne has everything else going for it. Um, but the bosses are really a lot of them are really underwhelming. Let's get right to it. The first boss we have is the Cleric Beast. And the Cleric Beast, it's a tutorial fight, kind of. It's the first boss that most people you would encounter. Technically, you could go to Father Gascoigne first, but that is definitely a completely different fight. Um, like the Cleric Beast feels way more like a tutorial fight. You can cheese him, cheese him. You can, use your resources and defeat him pretty quickly if you have Molotovs and like oil pots. Um, those will take him down pretty quickly. But if not, you can still do it um pretty safely. He's not that hard of a fight, and he's not bad. He's not a terrible fight. There are definitely much worse fights in this game than him, but he's not the best either. He looks cool. He's called. I mean, his lore is interesting because cleric beasts are the result of, I think, the healing church's like priests or clerics. You know, it's a result of them go undergoing like those blood transformations, and they become like it's like you either like transform into like a regular normal beast like a zombie thing or like a werewolf or something, but in Bloodborne lore, like the worse that your crimes against humanity are, the more foul of a beast you'll transform into. So this kind of hints at the fact that like, oh, maybe the healing church isn't so good because if a cleric has turned into a beast like this, then maybe like that hints at how bad of a person he actually was. And like think about it. Who are like the most disgusting beasts in this game? It's like Ludwig. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how many fucking crimes against humanity he committed. You know what I'm saying? Um, the first reborn or whatever, like all these different beasts that you encounter. Oh, Rom, you know what I'm saying? Like crazy, like disgusting beasts. So the lore is pretty interesting, but the fight itself pretty average. He's just a big monster. But it's fine. It's fine. It's acceptable. It's passable because it's a tutorial fight, and you don't really want to overwhelm your player in the tutorial in the first fight, like the first boss fight. So this is acceptable and it's fine, but it's not the best boss. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere close. So I'm gonna put this in C tier. Good start to the game. Now, this immediately, you start with a C tier boss, but then you immediately jump to Father Gascoigne, who I'm just gonna start by putting him in S tier. Okay? Father Gascoigne is an S tier fight. Okay? S tier. I don't care what anyone says. His fight is damn near perfect. I'll say it again. His fight is damn near perfect. It if this is the first boss that you encountered and you skip past the cleric beast, it's a crazy introduction to the boss fights of this game and the whole lore and atmosphere of this world, and it sets up the rest of the game perfectly. Um, if Cleric Beast was like that slow paced fight to help you get used to the movement and the pace of the game, then Father Gascoigne is that fast paced boss that immediately bumps it up a peg and teaches you how to parry, teaches you a little bit more of that advanced mechanics. You know what I'm saying? So Father Gascoigne is like that step above the tutorial boss, and everything about him is amazing. His cutscene is super fucking cool. Um, the lore behind him, how um, he was like that little girl's father, and he was a hunter and everything, and he was pretty good at it. But then he lost his mind in the blood, and literally when you encounter him, he's killing a beast, and he looks at you and says, what's his fucking iconic line, dude? He says something like, "Beasts all around the shop. You'll be one of them sooner or later." And he literally has lost his mind in the blood. And he assumes that you're just going to turn into a beast. He's lost his sort of morality, and he immediately tries to kill you because he assumes that everyone's a beast. And you kill him, and if you explore his arena, you find out that his wife is sitting somewhere in the back, and she's dead. And it's presumed that either he killed her or she killed herself. I think it's safer to say that he killed her because if he's lost his mind to the blood, then he probably assumed that she was gonna turn into a beast eventually. And then you have to go back to that. You have to go back to his house and talk to the little girl and be like, "Yeah, your father's dead, by the way." That's so sad. It's like such a tragic backstory. But the fight itself is amazing as well. You fight him in this graveyard, and at first it's just a regular human on human fight, and he's really easy to parry most of the time. You parry him, stab him, beat him up. It's a good back and forth. He's really fast, and then he eventually goes into phase two, where he transforms his weapon, uses the trick part of his weapon, and he has a different move set, and he starts swinging differently and everything. But you get used to it and everything, and then you get into phase three, and then he transforms into a beast. You literally witness a beast transformation right in front of your eyes, and that's literal proof that he was literally about to like lose his mind. Like he was losing his mind to the blood already, but that right there, that was the witnessing of that blood transformation. And it's crazy. He transforms into this big ass werewolf, and he becomes immediately more aggressive. He throws all caution to the wind, and his moveset is so much more beast-like. It's just so perfect how the fight builds and builds and builds, and the atmosphere is great. Like this is a perfect fight. And maybe I just have a slight bias to it, but this is literally a perfect fight. The only complaint I would have is the arena, maybe. You fight him in a graveyard, which is fine, but some of the tombstones get in the way. But that's a complete nitpick. But this fight is amazing. S tier fight. Father Gascoigne is fucking goated. Oh, I just realized my fucking face cam is in the way. Whoops. Oh, that sucks. Whatever. I mean, we only went through two bosses, and if you were listening to me, then so moving on. You know what the deal is. We have the Bloodstarved Beast, I believe. But yeah, Father Gascoigne is S tier, and as now this is a decent fight. Um, it's just there's a few mechanics that are a little annoying. He's definitely a hard fight. Like, especially if you kind of just like are struggling with the game before and then you go to him and he's like really tough. He's super aggressive and um after a while he starts bleeding poison, so when you're close to him you get poisoned. It's really annoying. Um it's a really like sharp learning curve. It's a really tough fight getting used to it. But he's also super easy to cheese. Bloodborne, out of all of the games, it's probably the easiest game to exploit with your items. Because there are multiple items that can just cheese and get past a lot of enemies and bosses. For example, Molotovs with the Cleric Beast, and another one is the Bloodstarved Beast. If you have blood cocktails, you can throw them into like a corner or something, and then he'll go to it because he's a blood-starved beast. He'll be attracted to the blood, and then you just hit him in the back a bunch. Do that a few times, and you just destroy him. And the beast blood pellets as well, dude. Those like are so overpowered once you get like a good meter built up. Like it's so crazy. Like the items in this game are so overpowered. Um, it's just a weird fight. It's a weirdly balanced fight, is what I'm trying to say. He does look sick though. Um, he's like a beast that has his like back skinned and filleted, so like his skin is hanging off the side of him. It's so grotesque, and like I said, he's bleeding constantly as you're fighting him, and he fights like a beast. He's super aggressive. He makes the wildest shrieking noises that when you fight him. All of the enemies in this game sound disgusting, and it's awesome. But the fight itself, it's pretty simple. He really only spams like three moves, and once you get either you decide to cheese him with the items, or get used to his moveset, he's not that bad. He's not a crazy interesting fight, but he's definitely not a terrible fight. I would probably put him B tier. Yeah, I'd probably put him B tier. I think he's better than the Cleric Beast. Definitely more interesting, cooler looking. It's just that he's just not too interesting. He's not A tier. He's not A tier. Um, Here we go. So, the next we move on to, I'm gonna save this guy a little later. Who the fuck is that? Oh, this is Vicar Amelia. Okay, yeah, I'll save this guy for um before Vicar Amelia. Okay, so the next thing we move on to is the Witches of Hemwick. Unfortunately, this will be our first F tier fight. Do I really have to say anything? The Witches of Hemwick is such a forgettable boss. It's such a bad boss too. Um, the whole fight is them summoning something else to fight you. But the entire fight, like the things that they summon to fight you, are not even like aggroed onto you. It's weird. The whole fight's mechanic is based around the insight mechanic in the game. And if you have zero insight, then you actually don't even see the things that they summon. So they're just a straightforward fight. You just hit them until they die. But if you have one or above insight, then they do spawn the things, which is kind of interesting. And that does have some cool lore implications and everything. But in terms of actual combat and gameplay, it's dumb. Like, it's an interesting idea on paper, but very poorly executed. And the thing that they actually summon, it doesn't actually really try to fight you most of the time. It's weird. He's really slow and like doesn't even like make an effort to hit you. Or at least that was the experience when I fought it. And there's two witches of Hemwick, and one of them you just kill until they die. You just hit them until they die. They just teleport away if you hit them too much. They summon more people. You just run around them. keep hitting them. They teleport away. It's a shitty fight loop, and it's a really forgettable boss, poorly designed. Um, I will say though, the only cool thing about them is their lore. That's probably gonna be the theme with a lot of these bosses. Even if they're bad bosses, they're gonna have amazing lore. Like that's just the theme with Bloodborne. Bloodborne lore is fucking phenomenal. And the lore with the Witches of Hemwick is that you encounter not just the Witches of Hemwick, but these types of witches throughout the game, and they have like little ice cream scoopers in their hands. And if they land a grab move on you, then they literally scoop your eyeballs out, and they collect them. And it's believed in the world of Bloodborne that eyeballs, physical eyeballs, give you intelligence. You'll see a lot of enemies throughout the game have like a ton of eyes on them, and that implies that they're really intelligent. A lot of the cosmic beings that you encounter have tons of eyes on them, and these are considered like godlike beings or even gods. You know what I'm saying? Some of the bosses you fight are gods, and they have a ton of eyes on them. So it's really weird. So it seems like that these witches, you know, they believe that the eyes, grant them power, so they try to steal other people's eyes. It's really weird. And as you go throughout the game, you'll collect these pebbles, and they kind of look like an eyeball. That's because these witches petrify the eyes that they collect. If you kill some witches and you pick up the stuff that they drop, they'll drop pebbles. It's not just because they're carrying around rocks, those are literal eyeballs. Something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Just really cool lore stuff, I think. But that doesn't save the boss fight at all. Okay? It's really poorly designed, really boring, and completely forgettable. And honestly, if they scrapped this boss, nothing would change in the game. Literally nothing would change. Let me take a sip of my water. Mmm. Mmm. That's good. Moving on, we have Parl. This guy. Um, I don't know much about Parl. I'll be honest. Let's see. I have the wiki right here. Dark Beast Parl. Is there information? No, this is not. How about lore? How about lore? Notes and trivia? Dude, not even the wiki knows anything about him. Um, yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know much about this guy. He, honestly, his design is a little less inspired compared to what we've been fighting so far, like all the grotesque stuff. He's kind of just a skeleton that, has some hair and he's electric. Um, I know that there's like this enemy type called the Dark Beasts, and they're able to wield electricity for some reason, but I'm not too sure like why they exist, what they're about. Dark Parl is just one of them. Just know that. I don't really know anything else about him though. But his fight, I'm gonna put him C tier. Get straight to the point. His fight is just uh even though he's like covered in electricity, the only like electric move that he has is like a self explosion, like a big AoE that forces you to run away. Other than that, it's just like melee moves, like swipes, and I don't know, it just feels like a weird boss in a little side area that like they just felt like putting in the game. I don't know. It just felt a little uninspired, you know what I'm saying? Um he is tough to fight early game because you can encounter him pretty early in the game. But if you know, just come back later, then he's pretty easy. Um, and he's also one of those types of bosses where if you hit him a lot, then he staggers, and you can get him into this sort of stagger loop, if this makes sense, like a stagger loop. And he's pretty easy once you figure him out. You know what I'm saying? His like attack move set is pretty uninspired. I don't know anything about him, like about his lore, and that says a lot because I know a lot about this game. I don't really know much about Parl. Um, there's just not too much to, praise this guy for, but he is not a bad fight at all. All right? He's just not a bad fight because at least he looks cooler than the Witches of Hemwick. And the fight is a little more fun. It's a little more, like he's actually aggressive, and you actually have to take him seriously when you fight him. Because he does do a lot of damage, especially early game. So, I'm gonna put him C tier. I think the Cleric Beast is better than him, but he's not a bad fight by any means. Moving on. Now we have, this is Vicar Amelia. Yeah. So Vicar Amelia, I think is really cool. Especially that starting cutscene as you walk into this quiet cathedral, beautiful moonlit cathedral, and you see her, and it looks like she's like praying or something, and then she sees you, and then immediately just transforms. This is another time that you witness a beast transformation right in front of your eyes. She transforms into this disgusting beast that's like covered in like this like paper mache type of material. I don't even know how to describe it. Um, Here, Vicar Amelia. Like it's her hair. It's like bandages or something. I don't know. It's weird. Um, Sorry. It's very interesting. But um, she looks cool. She's like a weird deer thing. She has like antlers and shit. I don't know. Um, But this also again implies that the fact that she's transformed into this disgusting beast kind of implies that what has she done? What are like the disgusting, grotesque things that she has done to have such an ugly, violent transformation? You know what I'm saying? And it's implied that she was praying to like her amulet or something, and she was in the middle of a prayer when you were walking in, and she was praying that she was keeping the transformation away by using prayer. And you walk in right as she's praying, and it's theorized that she gets distracted. It's not that she chooses to transform, it's that she was like the last line of defense against her transformation, and you distracted her from her prayer, and that's why she transformed. I don't know. It's not confirmed, but obviously nothing is really confirmed in this game. It's all fucking environmental storytelling and up to interpretation. But that is something I did want to mention because it's just a cool little thing to think about. Um, but Vicar Amelia, she has a cool cutscene, cool lore, and she transforms. And the fight itself, it's pretty simple. The fight itself is actually, I would say, comparable to Dark Beast Parl or like the Cleric Beast. It's like a beast fight, you know? They don't really have any powers or like they don't fucking breathe fire or anything, but they attack like beasts, you know? They're vicious, they're aggressive, and she has like a big swipe move, she has like a slam move. Um I will say because of her lore and her cool ass cutscene and a really pretty arena, I don't know. I'm just a sucker for cathedrals and like churches. If you have a boss fight in a church, I'm gonna like it probably. I don't know. I don't know. I just like churches, like the whole setting, the whole like atmosphere and like the structure and everything and layout. And she's in a church. I think she's definitely better than the other two beasts that are in C tier. But she's not A tier. I'm probably gonna put her above Dark Beast Parl. She's probably the best beast that we've ranked. Oh, technically, Father Gascoigne transforms into a beast, but he's the goat. We don't, it's unfair. It's unfair. All right, moving on from that, you go into the forest and I don't know, you fight a bunch of snakes or some shit. I don't know. Then you encounter these guys, the Shadows of Yarnum, I think they're called. Let's see. Shadows of Yarnum. Yeah, Shadows of Yarnum or Shadow of Yarnum. This is one of those enemies that they reuse later in the game, but I think they reuse it later in the game in a tasteful way. Way better than Dark Souls 1 did, at least. Okay? Um, it's one of those enemies that's like, oh, look how far you've come. This used to be a boss, and now it's a regular enemy to you. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. You know, in this game they do it right. Okay. In other games, it's questionable. But the actual boss fight itself is super fucking cool and unique. Okay, this is probably the most underrated boss fight in this game. I rarely hear um people talk about this boss fight. Um, it's a trio fight, three of them, trio, and I don't really like. When was the last time there was a trio fight in a Souls game? I actually don't know, other than the Gank Squad. Okay, from Dark Souls 2. Like this is probably like the first one that comes to mind for me at least. And this is a great trio fight. They pull it off somehow. One is like an aggressive swordsman, the other one like breathes fire, and the other one, um, I don't know. The other one like trades off between the aggressive swordsmen. It's interesting. They have different fighting styles and they play off of each other really well. I mean I say it all the time. The best part about like a duo fight or a trio fight in this case is how well the two people or three people play off of each other. Are their dynamics good or are they both kind of just the same people just duplicated, you know? But these guys, they play off of each other really well. It makes the fight super fun and it makes, multi-managing and multitasking, really interesting, but not unfair. You know what I'm saying? They're not all just jumping you at the same time. They trade off positions. One's aggressive, the rest are passive. It's like super interesting. And there's a phase two to this fight. I think once you kill one of them, they transform. The other two transform, and um, they get a different move set, and then they get this fucking crazy fucking snake move where snakes spawn out of the ground and just start trying to bite you and shit. Like these guys are Mesmer or something. Like these guys are the prelude to Mesmer, I guess, because like big ass snakes starts flying everywhere, and it's like what the fuck. Like randomly, this fight just becomes like the craziest shit ever. You know what I'm saying? Um, and honestly, it's a great fight. I would say I don't know anything about these guys. I don't know a single thing about the Shadows of Yharnam. They are guarding, what's it called? Bergenworth, the Academy of Bergenworth or whatever the fuck. The college. They are guarding that, but honestly, especially because of the area that preludes them, the area before them, it's ass. It's not really like crazy like interesting, their arena or like the area that they're in. Their lore I don't know much about. Um and the fight definitely can get janky. Even though it's a really well done trio fight, it still can definitely get really weird and overwhelming and feel a little bit bullshit. But that I think for an experimental fight like this, that was a trio fight as well, they did the best that they could. I don't think it is S tier, but I'm putting this in A tier. I definitely think that this is probably the most underrated fight in Bloodborne. This is a great, great fight that doesn't get enough praise, I don't think. Moving on, we go to who the fuck is this? Oh, is this Lord Martyr Lugarius? Martyr Lugarius. Now, well, 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 we meet again. So, if you remember, in my playthrough of Bloodborne, my stream of Bloodborne, I encountered this guy super early. I think I defeated all of these people. But before I moved on to ROM and then transitioned into the second half of the game, I wanted to go to what's it called? Fuck, what is it called? Canehurst Castle. Yes, Canehurst, because you can backtrack from Bergenworth and then go up a ladder and shit and then get into the Yosefka's clinic, pick up the summons, the Canehurst summons, and then get transported to Canehurst. You can do it that early. And it's not intended, but you could definitely do it really early in the game. You're definitely supposed to do it like later, like before you get to the Nightmare of Mensis, but I didn't do that. All right? I did not do that. And um it definitely made the boss fight a lot more challenging. He hit way harder and at times he was one-shotting me. It was crazy. But it definitely gave me a unique experience with him because before I streamed and did my playthrough of it, I'd played this game before. Um, and I'd fought Martyr Logarius, and he always kind of just felt like a side boss character. He kind of felt like what Priscilla was in Dark Souls 1, where it's like this is a completely optional area. It's a completely optional boss, and I mean, he looks cool. I don't really know much about him, but I don't know. He just always felt a little mysterious to me, and I don't know. I didn't care much for him. But with my most recent playthrough of Bloodborne, I had a completely different experience because I went there early. He was a lot more difficult, and I'm glad. I am glad because it made his fight, um, first of all, more entertaining for the viewer, but also um, a lot more memorable. And I think that if you were to ask me before, like before my playthrough, like, hey, where would you rank this guy? I might put him like in B or maybe even C tier, but I think now he deserves like a low A tier. I really think he does. Because, dude, I was struggling on this boss. I was fighting this boss for like 2 hours and fucking yelling at him and fucking getting so frustrated. Um, But I will say he has a couple moves that are just complete bullshit. Okay? The only thing holding this guy back is there are times where it feels unfair and stupid. One of those things is his like he sticks a sword into the ground and fucking like swords start flying from the air and you have to destroy the sword in order to like stop that from happening. If you don't do that, then you're just going to get hit constantly with some swords while he's trying to attack you. So it's like you have to take care of the sword thing. Another move that he does is like he flies backwards and like throws like a bomb at the ground. When I was fighting him, that shit one shot me. And it had no telegraph, too. If you were just too aggressive, then he would just hop back and do that shit. And it felt so bullshit. Um, it was like, it just felt like shit. Okay? But I will say, that's like pretty much the only negative that I have about this guy. But he just has, one or two, maybe three moves that just feel like shit and they don't play well. But other than that, he looks cool. He's a skeleton that has powers. That's pretty cool. And he has a crown on him. Like, come on. You fight him on a roof covered in snow. Real belfry gargoyles. Sort of uh aesthetic he has going on. It's really cool. And the fight itself, other than those bullshit moves, is really fun. It is really cool, and I would definitely fight him again. He's an A tier fight. Martyr Logarius. Now, oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Now is the time where we actually get into like you know how I was yapping at the beginning about how all of these or a lot of the fights in this game are really either mid or forgettable or bad. And so far we've had some decent fights and you're probably wondering, "Oh, when's the mids where are the bad fights?" Now is where we get into the really shitty fights because for like 5 bosses straight, no, 6 bosses straight, maybe like perhaps 7. Ah! 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 Um, for a while, you have a really long stretch of just shitty bosses. At least with the playthrough I had. Like, look at what we have coming up. This is ass. This is ass. We now move on to Rom. Oh my god, this fight is so ass. This fight is so ass. This is worse than the Witches of Hemwick. This is an F tier fight. I don't care about the lore. I don't care about the lore, okay? I don't care. This fight is ass. But let's talk about the lore. Because apparently Rom was a student of Bergenworth, and I think, if I remember properly, she learned under the professor, what is his name, Willem, and this guy was like super obsessed with insight. When you encounter him, he's like covered in eyes and everything, and he points to the lake where you fight Rom. So she studied under him, and she became this. She used to be a human, and now she became this thing, which is Rom. And technically speaking, she's a god right now. She is literally a god. Here we go. Yeah, she's like a god, but she's like a spider god. It's weird. It is weird. Um, like the lore is super interesting, and I will say the arena is pretty. And usually that would be enough to bump a bad fight up to D tier. Okay, you've seen me give this type of excuse to multiple pretty bad fights. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the arena's cool looking. Oh, he has really cool lore and everything. But dude, this boss is so bad, not even the lore can save it. Not even the cool, pretty arena can save it. Okay, this fight is ass. It's ass. What it is when you spawn in and you fight her, she spawns all these fucking spider ads. And she spawns like fucking 20 of them. And then you get her down to half health and then she teleports away. And then she spawns more of them. It's so fucking stupid. And the spiders, it's not like they just like tickle your pussy and they do like 1 damage. No, these things, when they fucking dive bomb you, they take out your entire health bar. And there's like 20 of them. So you have to focus on the ads, and then guess what? Rom is trying to fucking flop her face on you and the entire time. So it's like a really, really shitty gank fight the entire time. And it's just like, okay, it really boils down to like, oh, if I kill this bitch fast enough, then I don't have to worry about the spiders. And that sucks. Like a boss should never be like, oh, I just want to get through this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I just want to kill this guy quick. It should never be that. It should never be that. That's a a telltale sign of you have a bad boss fight in your hands, okay? And that's the definition of this boss. You just want to get through it um to move on, okay? And she's a required boss. You know what I'm saying? She's not a side boss where you could just like you have to go to the specific area. No, she marks the halfway point of the game. And like I said, the the lore and the arena's pretty, and the cutscene that plays after you kill her is super weird and interesting. But dude, Rom, the vacuous spider, is ass. It's such an ass fight that not even the lore can save it. Okay? And Bloodborne has phenomenal lore. So this goes in F tier. It's the worst fight so far, even worse than the Witches of Hemwick, because at least the Witches of Hemwick are easy as fuck, and at least they're just forgettable. You know what I'm saying? But this bitch is frustrating. All right? But don't worry. You thought that fight was ass? Oh, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. Anyway, we're moving on to the One Reborn. Let me see what it is exactly called. Yeah, One Reborn. Wow, that's actually a really shitty name. Oh, The One Reborn. Okay, so I was exactly right. Okay. So we move on to The One Reborn. So after you kill Rom, the blood moon rises, and then the real hunt begins, and then shit starts getting weird. And the first boss you fight in this second half of the game is the One Reborn. And let's start with the positives, okay? First of all, cool cutscene. When you walk into the arena, there's there's these fucking witch bitches that start ringing a bell and start singing and shit, and they summon this thing. And it's just an amalgamation of body parts conformed together to be like one big thing. And I think this is my own personal theory, but I think what was going on is these witches were summoning what they thought was a god, or maybe something that was transforming into a god, but wasn't quite there yet. And they summoned him like in the premature phase of his transformation to fight you. And either he wasn't ready or I don't know, something happened. And he turned out like this, and it's disgusting. Like you guys need to see this. V1 Reborn. Not videos. Like, dude, this guy is gross. Oh my god, my face cam's in the way, definitely. But dude, look at this. This guy is disgusting. He's just body parts and blood. That's what he is. No, that's pretty cool. But yeah, he spawns out of the red moon. He spawns from being summoned, and he looks cool as fuck. He looks cool as shit. But the fight is ass. Is ass. First of all, you have to go around and take out the witches when you fight him. Because if you don't, then I think they have a healing ability. They heal the guy actively when you're fighting him. So you have to go around and take out the ads. It's not too big of a deal, but it just gets in the way. And then when you actually go to fight him, he's too big for his own good. And he has a bunch of moves that you can't really see coming because you have to get close to him to fight him. And he has like just like weird hitboxes. I don't know. The fight is really poorly designed and not fun. Okay? Not fun. But not nearly as insufferable as Rom. Because at least the witch ads that are spawned in the arena with you, they don't fucking actively attack you and have the most bullshit moves that one shot your entire health bar. So, just because he's not as frustrating, I'm going to put him in D tier. Because he has cool lore, cool arena, looks disgusting, and looks fucking crazy. Okay? That's what's carrying him right now to D tier. But the fight itself is actually just stupid. Here we go. Another shit fight. So, what are these called? The failed experiments or something? Celestial emissaries. That's right, or celestial emissary. So, the celestial emissary boss is just a bunch of those alien-looking enemy types, and they do have cool lore. I just forgot. But I know it has something to do with like Yosefka and like experimentation, like with the experimentation with insight and trying to like evolve humans into like this godlike race. But obviously these are like failed, um, like weird like amalgamations that aren't gods. Um, fuck, I want to know the lore though. What's the lore? What? Wow. Anyway, I don't know the lore, but I know it's really cool because it relates to Yosefka, because you find these same enemies in Yosefka's clinic when you break in and you find out Yosefka's actually dead. And then she was just taken over from someone, and that someone was doing experiments on people in the clinic. And if you had sent people to the clinic because you thought it was a safe place, then she would have been doing experiments on those people as well, and you would encounter them in this alien form. Super interesting, super weird, um, super cool. But that's the only cool thing about them. You kind of fight them in this shitty arena. It has flowers in it, but it's like they're just like they're not as cool as the flowers in the end game area. Okay, I'll say that. Um, and it's just a bunch of those little guys, and then halfway through the fight, they transform into a big guy, and it's like, oh shit, it's a big guy, but he has the exact same moveset. Some of them have like spells, I think, but it's like they tickle you. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing really crazy. It's easy, and definitely better than the Witches of Hemwick. So I might put these guys in D tier, but I think the One Reborn's a little better, because at least the One Reborn looks way cooler and has a better cutscene, a cutscene. But these guys are Not it. Okay, they are not it. Oh my god! But then immediately after these guys, you fight oh my god, what's her name? Like Ephritas or something? Abritas. Abritas, daughter of the cosmos. This bitch sucks. I will say, I will say, let's start with the positives, okay? She looks cool. She looks weird. She looks grotesque. Abritas, daughter of the cosmos. She looks weird. She has like these broken wings. If it'll have a fucking better quality image, please. Thank you. And then she has all of these eyes on her and like these weird tentacles. Like, dude, this is what she looks like. Weird, dude. She looks weird. This is definitely one of the coolest enemy designs or boss designs in the entire game. In the entire game. What's this? Side wall of the thyroid gland. What? What the fuck? Yeah, they definitely based this enemy design on some weird shit. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But she definitely looks cool as fuck. Okay? She has that going for her. But oh my god, this fight is so ass. This fight is so ass. Her hitboxes are completely stupid. So stupid. Every time she swings, it's like her entire body is covered in a hitbox and you can't move anywhere. It's so weird to play around. And I don't know. I didn't have fun with this fight ever. I can't remember a single time where I actually liked the fight. Um and it's just something it's a complete at least it's an optional fight. It's not like what the fuck's her name? Rom. It's not like Rom where it's a required fight. It's a completely optional fight, which is nice. All right. And she does look cool and her arena it reminds me of like a shittier Midir arena, if that makes sense, where you fight her. It's like a cool lake with some like sunlight or moonlight. I mean, you know, like a cave type of thing. It's interesting. And you fight her under the church that you originally fought Vicar Amelia in. So it's pretty cool. But the actual fight itself is so ass. It's so ass. The only thing that would make this F tier is if the fight had ads. If this fight had ads, it would actually be the worst fight in the entire game. But it's not. I'm gonna put it low D tier because it's more memorable than the Witches of Hemwick because at least she looks way cooler, and it's definitely not nearly as frustrating as the Rom fight, but it's still very frustrating. So she's at the bottom of D tier. Now we move on to a slightly better fight, I would say, with the amygdala. Um, because after you kill the one reborn, you go to like this little area, and then you get transformed or transferred into a nightmare, the nightmare realm plane or whatever the fuck. And this is an optional boss, but um, he's not terrible. Okay, out of the last like 5 bosses that we've ranked so far, he's probably the best one. Okay, um, out of the 5 previous bosses. I think I'm gonna put him in the lowest of C tier because there are a few good things about his fight. First of all, the lore of the amygdalas is super interesting. I know that we've all had this moment, spoiler alert, I mean, I've been spoiling this game. If you're watching this video, like, you should know the game, okay? Um, but I know we've all had this moment in our playthrough, if you've played through Bloodborne, where you're walking around and you've got through a decent amount of the game and you go back to the cathedral ward, you know, where all the NPCs are, where it's like the safe area of the game. You go back there and you've defeated a few bosses, you've gotten your insight up, and you walk outside and you turn around and there's this big amygdala just sitting outside um just sitting outside of the church. And it's like, what the fuck? What is this guy doing here? Um Yeah, here he is. He's sitting on the church that, you know, all of the NPCs are sitting inside of. That's supposedly safe. and you find out that he's been there the entire time. The entire playthrough, this guy has been sitting outside of your church. It's only now that you've seen him that, you've gained enough insight and you've learned enough about the world. It's only now that you see him outside of your church. It's crazy. And these guys are like supposedly like demigods. They're not gods, but they're godlike. And the fact that they can control sort of who sees them, it's well, not that they can control who sees them, but that you have to be like ascended and you have to have insight in order to see them. It's super interesting. And this is where you fight one of them. You fight one of them in a dream. It's crazy. But the first you fight him, and I'll be honest, the fight is janky. Okay? The fight itself is weird because his hitboxes are weird. If you hit him in like his legs, you do like no damage. But if you hit him in his face, you do a ton of damage. He's kind of like a dragon fight, you know? You hit him in the face, it does a lot more damage than hitting him on the body. Okay? So it's like you're encouraged to hit him on the face. But his hitboxes, he's so disjointed. Like, look at his fucking arms and shit. And he like his arms are so long and he's so disjointed. You're hitting him in the face. You don't see when he's about to fucking whack you in your fucking throat. You know what I'm saying? Um, God, these things look disgusting. It's awesome. But like you're hitting him in his face and you don't see when he's about to hit you. It's just weird camera placement and you know I like the weak point idea, but with this type of enemy, it's weird. Um, but I will say, in phase two, he rips off both of his like forearms, and then because he has like 8 arms or something, like 6 arms or something, I don't know. He rips off his forearms and he starts swinging at you with his arms. So he like gets an extended range. It's super weird, but super awesome. He like mutilates himself to get an advantage in the fight. It's sick. But Um, I will say because of the jank of the fight, because of the weird hitboxes, it's holding it back from being like a B or an A tier fight. But it's definitely not a D tier fight. It's not nearly as bad as the Abritus Daughter of the Cosmos. It's definitely not an F tier fight either. He looks cool. You know what I'm saying? I love this look. Not this one. I love this look. I love the look of this guy. Looks cool. Um, cool lore and cool visuals. He's cinematic. He rips his arms off, and he fires a laser too. Sick. It's sick. Okay, it's sick. Okay, moving on to the worst fight in the entire game, Mikolash. Here, let's Mikolash, host of the nightmare. Now, I know that this guy's lore is super interesting, and he has a ton of like importance in the universe. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. This guy is F tier. F tier. The worst of the worst. Now, you know how I was talking about in my DS1 tier list video, how I was talking about, oh, the Bed of Chaos is definitely the worst fight in all of From Software history, the worst boss fight. This guy, he actually makes competition with Bed of Chaos, in my opinion. Mikolash is such a terrible fight, and it's not even a cool idea. Who the fuck was sitting in the game design room, sitting there like, oh, we should make a boss where he runs away from you and he's talking shit the entire time, and then you finally corner him, and then he has like 3 one-shot moves that just fucking murder you. It's like, what the fuck were you thinking? What were you thinking? Oh my god, this fight pisses me off. Even just talking about it gets my blood pressure up, dude. This is the worst fight in the entire game, and I think I would argue the worst boss fight in the entire From Software series ever. Ever. I mean it, dude. I think this fight is worse than Bed of Chaos. It's close, okay? It's neck and neck for who the fuck is shittier. But I personally think it's Mikolash. Um, once you get him down and once you understand the gimmick, the fight is pretty simple. You chase him around a ton, and then you finally corner him. You fight him until he gets to half health. He starts running away again, and then you corner him again, and then you kill him. When you actually corner him, the moves that he only has like two moves. But the when he has the like this like the fucking magic move where he summons tentacles or like shoots beams of light at you, it's so fucking insane. Like the amount of damage that does. It's insane the amount of damage that his magic moves do. Um, it like literally they one shot you. It's so stupid. Like you get so far into a boss fight, you could chase this guy for like 10 minutes and then finally corner him and then he one shots you. All right? Fighting this guy for the first time ever, like first time playing Bloodborne and I fought this guy, I wanted to fucking throw my controller out a window. I felt like shit. And it's not rewarding fighting this guy at all. You don't feel like a sense of accomplishment when you beat him. You feel relief, like you never have to fight that guy again, if you choose not to play through the game again. And he's a required boss fight. He's required. It's so ass. It is so ass. It just blows my mind. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Who? There is zero redeeming qualities about this guy. I'm not joking. There's zero redeeming qualities about Mikolash, the host of the nightmare. I don't give a fuck. Oh my god. Technically, you can cheese him. Like, if you run in a certain pattern, then he immediately runs himself into a corner. And then you can, like, use, like, poison throwing knives for, like, his second phase when he corners himself a second time. But dude, like, the fact that you have to go through all that just to make the fight easy, it's like bullshit. Like, you don't want to make a fight easy. You don't want to have to cheese a fight. But with this guy, it makes you feel like, okay, I have to cheese him. Because the fight is so ass fighting it legitimately. It's so stupid. I'm done. I'm done talking about this guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just fucking hate this guy. He's the worst. He's the worst. Anyway, moving on. After you kill Mikolash, you go to the end of the nightmare, and then you fight the Wet Nurse. I think it's called the Wet Nurse, which sounds weird. It sounds sus as fuck. Yeah, Margot's Wet Nurse. It sounds weird, but I think it's actually like a medical term. Um, it's like a baby's like caregiver, like a nurse, like in a orphanage or something. I don't know. Um, and I will say, here we go. I will say, this thing does look sick. Long neck, cloak, covered in feathers, a bunch of sides. Like, who the fuck let this thing take care of a baby? The fuck is this? That's not Margot's Wet Nurse. Um, looks sick as fuck, but the actual fight itself is kind of forgettable. Okay, I will say the arena, the lore around like Margot and Queen Yarnum and that whole like nightmare area is super interesting and it sets up the fight really well. The arena is weird, like with a baby in the middle of it. Um, and you have to like go up to it to spawn the boss. It's weird. Um, and you fight this thing and it feels like it only has like two moves. um like it has like a couple swipe moves and then it has like a barrage of like swipes. It's a very simple fight, super easy, and after you get it down to low enough health it starts spawning clones, but they're pretty easy to manage because they're all really slow, and if you just keep your distance and choose your attacks wisely, the fight is really easy. um I will say though, after all of these fights I just ranked in D and F tier, I it feels refreshing fighting something like this. You know what I'm saying? After going through all of this bullshit, oh no no no, you belong here. You belong here. Um, After going through all of this bullshit and then finally you fight this thing, it feels slightly refreshing. So I think I'm gonna put it at low C tier. I don't think it's as cinematic or as cool as the amygdala. Um, Actually, I might put amygdala above Parl. I think that's how I'm feeling because Parl's not really that memorable either. So it's not too interesting of a fight. She only has like two moves. It feels like a Dark Souls 1 fight, if that makes any sense. Like if this fight was in Dark Souls 1, it would be one of the better boss fights. Um, because it just feels really simplified and just like simple. Like that's literally the definition of this fight. It's super simple. But I love the design, I love the lore. And it's not nearly as bad as these other bosses that you fight in the second half of the game. Because holy shit, it gets bad. So maybe I'm just feeling generous because the other fights are shit. But I'm putting this thing in the bottom of C tier. I don't think it's that bad. Now, you can either choose to beat the game now or move on to the best part of the game, which is the DLC. Luckily, From Software fucking cooked with this DLC. Okay? Um, and you start the DLC, you go into the Hunter's Dream or the Hunter's Nightmare, and your first fight is Ludwig the Accursed. That's his name? Oh, yeah. Oh, Ludwig the Holy Blade. Or wait, what? Ludwig the Accursed slash Ludwig the Holy Blade. And dude, this guy, talk about cinema. Because this guy is such a visual and soundtractual audio masterpiece. It's crazy. Listen to the soundtrack. Um, Ludwig soundtrack Bloodborne. Dude, just listen to this thing. It sounds so fucking good. Like it's so mysterious and haunting. Like look at this guy. Dude, look at this guy as we listen to this thing. Look at him. He's like this weird horse human amalgamation, dude. He's disgusting. It's crazy. And as you fight him, when you go into phase 2, you find out that he's actually like a super skilled swordsman. And like he rediscovers his humanity. Like the first half of the fight, it's like this beast and he doesn't speak, he just fucking screams and he charges at you and it's scary as fuck. But in the second half, he transforms into this like human. He like rediscovers his humanity and he wields his old sword in a new light. And then you're able to give him a proper honorable death. It's super interesting. Here, let's fast forward to the good part. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god, dude. Can I talk about the soundtrack of this game for a minute? This game has, I think, the best soundtrack out of all of the other games. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot because all of the other games, Elden Ring, Sekiro, all the Dark Souls games, they all have phenomenal soundtracks. But this is why I think Bloodborne is the best. Like, come on! Like, listening to this and then fighting Ludwig. Oh my god. Alright, let me chill. Let me chill before I get too riled up. Okay? Ludwig is S tier. Ludwig is an S tier fight, and he's just beautiful. Okay, the setup to the fight, the arena, the cutscenes that he has, like the arena is like just covered in pools of blood and bodies. It's just covered in bodies, and these are all the people that Ludwig has slayed, or the beast version of him at least. And the cutscene, like introducing him, disgusting. But then the in between cutscene, um, for his phase two, like reintroducing him as like a human that's not just a beast, but he's like used to be human, and he rediscovers his humanity. Super interesting. And then he wields his blade, like he wields it with like proper swordsmanship. It's crazy. The whole lore behind him is insane. His arena's insane. His soundtrack, you were just listening to that shit. That shit's peak. Oh my god. And his fight, and it's not just all of that, but his fight is amazing too. His fight is amazing. It's hard as fuck. Okay, when I fought him, I used the whirligig saw. When I fought him with my playthrough, I used the whirligig saw, and it made it really trivial. Okay, it was really easy. But I promise you, this guy is hard as fuck. Because my other playthroughs that I have of this game, um, make like it's really fucking hard. I promise you. And it's good hard. Pause. It's good difficult. And like the first half, he's like this beast. He like charges at you. He has a bunch of fucking wild swipes and strikes and shit, and he's like slamming his head against the ground. And then in the second phase, he wields his sword with proper swordsmanship. He's like swiping and he's like standing tall, and he has like this big moon slash. Like the fight itself is designed very well. He looks crazy. Like everything about this fight is peak. Everything about this fight is peak. Um, that's all I really have to say. If I had to describe Ludwig in one word, I would use the word peak. And then we move on to the living failures. And holy shit, dude. Oh my god, these guys suck. I will say though, I'm gonna put them in D tier. Probably right next to the Celestial Emissary. Because they're pretty much the exact same thing. There's these like experiments. They used to be human, and they've been experimented on using like the source of insight and blood and everything, trying to evolve them into gods. And they're seen as living failures. That's what they're called, the living failures, because they never evolved into gods. Ironically enough, though, when you fight them, they're able to wield like cosmic spells and abilities. Like they literally make asteroids rain down on you, which is like their most powerful attack. But like no human can do that. You know, any of the actual humans you fight in this game were never able to wield that celestial power. So ironically enough, even though they're seen as failures, they've got the closest to godhood, closer than anyone else. So I don't know. Are they really failures? I don't know. So the lore is cool. The arena's pretty because you fight them in a little field of flowers with a big sunflower in the middle. But the actual fight itself, it's literally the same thing as the Celestial Emissary. It's just a bunch of guys. You walk up to them, you beat them up, they die. You move on to the next one, beat them up. They have like one giant health pool, so you just beat up as many guys as you can until the health goes to zero, and then they all die. Um, the fight, the only challenging part about the fight is when they fucking summon the asteroid attack. Then you have to dodge and run for your life, but they only do that once or twice. It's a pretty simple fight. Kind of forgettable. The lore is cool. The arena's pretty. That's the only two positives I can think about. So they're D tier. They're not ass. They're not F tier. All right, they're D tier. But luckily, once you kill these guys, you move on immediately to another amazing fight, and that's Lady Maria. Can I just put her in S tier? Like, Lady Maria is a phenomenal fight. You're gonna see a common theme. When the boss fight is a hunter in this game, the hunter fights are the best fights in this game. So, Father Gascoigne, Lady Maria, and Gehrman are all gonna be amazing fights. Just because it's which is ironic because when you think about NPC fights in Dark Souls, it's like, okay, these guys, I mean, like, they're really forgettable, they're really janky, and they're really easily exploitable because it's AI you're fighting. But in this game, obviously they're not just NPCs, they have unique moves and they have transformations and phases and shit, so they aren't like NPC fights, but these are hunter fights. And the hunter boss fights, they're similar to you. They're hunters as well. But they all have these unique moves, these amazing like arenas and lore, and they all have these cool weapons that you're able to wield as well. Um, so it's like it just makes it more personable and it makes it feels like a level playing field because you're both hunters. It just makes it cooler, you know? And Lady Maria is no exception. She's cool as fuck. Her opening cutscene where she's like fucking dead, her wrists are slit on the chair, and you're like, is this bitch dead? And she fucking grabs your arm. She's like, fucking you disturbed me in my slumber. Shit's crazy. Um, and then you fight her, and she has three phases, and she's using a fucking cool ass katana, and then she stabs herself and covers it in blood and does a ton more damage, and then she lights the blood on fire, and then she starts fucking flying around the arena doing a shit ton of damage, and the fucking soundtrack's amazing. The arena's super pretty. You fight her in a clock tower, and the clock tower's like sunlit. It's super fucking cool. And the lore, oh my god, the lore of Lady Maria is so fucking cool. First of all, you'll notice that if you play the game, you'll notice that she looks awfully like the doll that is in the Hunter's Dream, the doll that, you know, you talk to when you want to level up. And that's because the doll is modeled after Lady Maria. Gehrman um was Lady Maria's like teacher, to be like he taught her how to be a hunter and everything. And um you know, Lady Maria was like his best student and everything. And Gehrman developed this like obsession with her, so much so that he made an exact replica doll out of her and somehow made it sentient and shit. It's weird. I don't know. So like Gehrman's a weirdo. Okay, Gehrman's a weirdo. But that's a little side piece. Lady Maria herself is so fucking cool because she participates in these grotesque, disgusting, you know, rituals of blood and everything. But then she has a moment of reflection where she realizes a lot of the shit that's going on is wrong and shouldn't be happening. And that's why she's like living with the living failures, and she's protecting you from the Hamlet. She protects the Hamlet because she doesn't want anyone else to realize the horrors that she had to go through. You know what I'm saying? That's why she's sitting in the clock tower just before the Hamlet area. She doesn't want you to go past. She's killing you for your own protection. It's crazy. Everything about Lady Maria is peak and amazing. I think in terms of like cinematic and visuals, I think I like Ludwig a little better. Just because I like the way he looks better, I like his soundtrack a little better. But it's just like small things. They're both S tier. Okay, that's all. That's all you need to know. And then, before we move on to the last boss fight of the DLC, we have this guy to talk about. His name is Lawrence, Vicar Lawrence to be specific. And this guy is weird. He's weird because um, it's at this point when you fight him, you find out that, well, first of all, he's a cleric beast. He looks like this thing, the first thing you fight. So you discover that, like I was saying earlier, that these clerics are transforming into beasts because they're doing heinous acts. You know, the it seems like the higher status of person you are within like the church or the government or whatever, the worse your transformation is and the uglier you are. And that's no exception because Vicar Lawrence is grotesque and ugly and he turns into a cleric beast. So points off for reusing that the same fucking design you used like at the beginning of the game. You just reuse the cleric beast but put him on fire. Like that's not really that creative. But plus points because the lore is consistent and it's pretty cool. So it kind of evens out, I guess. But for the first half of the fight, like pretty much the exact same fight as the cleric beast. The only issue is that he like sometimes he'll have an explosion move or something. Like he'll have like a slam that explodes, but he telegraphs it pretty easily, so you just move out of the way. Um, and then um, you get him to low enough health where you like chop his lower half off, and then he starts crawling around on his arms and bleeding lava. And this is where the fight gets really tedious because he just runs around the entire arena and sets everything on fire and in lava, so you have like nowhere to move. And then he like all he does is charge at you and like swipe around. Like it makes the fight really annoying and tedious. Um, it's just weird. And the fact that he's a reskin, um, he's not terrible. He's not F tier at all by any means. And I think he's a better fight than the Living Failures, honestly. But the thing is, it's just that he's not really creative. He's a reskin. The lore is super cool, but he's a reskin and you fight him in the cathedral that you fought Vicar Amelia in. So it's not even a different arena. So it's like reusing assets, and the second phase being pretty annoying. I don't know. This guy isn't super fun to fight. I think the original Cleric Beast is a better fight. Um, so I'm gonna put this guy in D tier, but he's at the top of D tier. I think he's the best in D tier. He's better than the Living Failures, because his fight is a little more fun than the Living Failures. Living Failures are too easy. Okay, but he's not C tier. I would take any of these C tier guys before um, this guy. So moving on, we have the last fight of the DLC, and it's a doozy. The last fight of the DLC is the Orphan of Kos. Of Kos. Lore. Yeah, take me to the lore. So, this fight is easily the hardest fight in all of Bloodborne. And for a while, it was the hardest fight in, like, or not the hardest fight. For a while, it was one of the hardest fights in all of From Software history because just the aggression this thing has and the amount of damage he does and how mobile he is. He's jumping around the entire arena. He flies up in the air off screen to fucking rain down some crazy shit on you. It's insane. He's so deadly. And honestly, I would still say he's one of the hardest fights in From Software history to this day. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we have things like Radon, Prime Radon, and fucking Melania. Um, and fucking, Ishin. These guys are obviously really hard, but this guy still puts up an amazing fight, even with modern day standards. It's crazy. And his lore is insane as well, because um you find him on this beach at the end of the hamlet, and it plays a cutscene. There's a cutscene that plays when you find him, and um there's like this husk of flesh on the shore, and he literally like slides out the bottom of it, and you literally witness a birth in front of your eyes. And the cutscene is super fucking cool because he slides out and he stands up. The first thing he sees is this like moon in the sky, and then he turns around and sees his dead mother on the shore, and then he looks up and he sees you. The only thing he knows in life is that his mom is dead, and you're standing there with a knife and a gun, not looking too innocent. Like, that's the only thing he knows. It's insane. And the whole lore, oh my god, the whole reason why the hunter's dream exists is because the mother of Kas, she died but she died in her physical form. Gods can like die in their physical form, but still have power and control over like the space and like the physical. So when the mother of Kos dies in her physical form, it's it's as a result, it's because of Bergenworth and the scholars and the healing church and everything, because they were so power hungry, because they were so like ambitious with the thought of, ascending humans to godhood, that they were just defiling this god's corpse. The god became so angry that it banished all of these hunters to the hunter's nightmare. That's why you see Lady Maria there. She was a part of it. That's why you see Ludwig there. He was a part of it as well. That's why you see all these hunters gone mad in the nightmare. It's because the mother of Kos was angry at them because they're defiling her corpse. And you find out she was pregnant, and the baby's born in front of you. He's called the Orphan of Kos because his mother is dead. And oh my god, the anger and the wrath that this thing holds, you can feel how angry the mother is through her child. It's insane, the lore of this guy. Um it can be theorized that the description or desecration of Kos by the old hunters led to the death of this infant great one, causing it to fade into a plane similar to limbo. Interesting. In retaliation for that saddening fate, Um, the devoted mother of Kos laid the curse of blood upon the old hunters, responsible for the early earthly deaths. Drunk with blood, the later hunters would join the old hunters in the limbo of the orphan of Kos, referred to as the hunter's nightmare. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god. Such cool lore. And the fight is so fucking cool. He's so aggressive, and it's such a rewarding fight. He is hard as fuck, but it's such a rewarding and accomplishing fight to fight this guy. It feels great when you beat him. It's not like bullshit where it's like you're relieved to finally be done with him and move on. It's like, oh my god, that felt amazing finally overcoming that challenge. It felt great. And that's how that basically sums him up, honestly. I'm gonna be honest, this might be the best fight in the entire game. I don't know if that is. I don't think I'm speaking from bias here either. This might be the best fight in the entire game. I'm gonna put this guy in S tier, easily, top of S tier for me. Maybe he's just my personal favorite, but the lore, the design, he literally fights you with his placenta. Do you know what that is? Do you even know what that is? Shit's crazy. He literally uses his mom's placenta as a weapon. He fucking swings around at you and like he like throws it and it's like on a string. It's like, what? It's probably like some fucking blood vessel that he's attached it to. It's weird, dude. He's ugly. The cutscene is pretty. Like the beach is nice. The lore is insane. Um, dude, the fight is peak. Oh my god. My only small nitpick complaint is that there's a couple moves that feel a little bullshit. There's one move where he like flies or he like jumps up in the air, but he goes off screen. Like the camera doesn't follow him, so you have no clue where he's moving or what he's doing or like where to stand in order to dodge whatever he's about to do. He like throws some shit down at you and lands. You don't know where it's about to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little disorienting, but that's just one move. The rest of the fight is phenomenal. Um, yeah, and that's the DLC. The DLC is peak. The DLC is easily the best part of Bloodborne. And I'm gonna be honest, if Bloodborne never came out with a DLC, it wouldn't be considered the best or in competition with the best of From Software. I guarantee it. You know, I guarantee people wouldn't be talking about how good it is. I mean, look, look what the DLC brought. Before before the DLC, we only had one person in S tier, and that's Father Gascoigne. Three people from the DLC are S tier, and they're all better than Father Gascoigne. Like what? Um, like I think they knew when they made the game. Like, yeah, I think we have to step our boss game up for this DLC. for it to be memorable. Because low key, the DLC carries Bloodborne. I think that's another complaint that I may have, that the base game is a little underwhelming compared to the DLC. The DLC is fucking peak. But that's another thing. Moving on. After you beat the DLC and after you beat the wet nurse, you come back to the hunter's dream and you notice that it's on fire. And you talk to the doll and she says, Gehrman's waiting for you. There's only one thing left to do. You walk out to the field of like flowers and hold on. Gehrman OST. There we go. Lore. Yeah, so throughout the entire Bloodborne game, you talk to this guy named Gehrman, and he's in this wheelchair. And you're talking to him, he's like guiding you to like how to be a hunter and everything. He's like, "Oh, just go out and hunt something." He's interesting. But at the end of the game, you come back and you've done all of this work. You've literally slayed gods. And you come back and he's sitting there and you talk to him and he wants to kill you. um it's weird because he's the one who taught you how to be a hunter. He's the one who told you to just go out and slay some beasts. And now he's trying to punish you, but it's not what he's doing. He's protecting you. Kind of like how Lady Maria is protecting you from what's on the Hamlet. He's protecting you from, the horrors of, knowledge and, discovery of what it means to be human, what it, means to be a great one, a god, the difference between the two, how to achieve it. He's holding you back because he knows it could possibly kill you and be dangerous. So he's trying to give you mercy. He's trying to kill you. But if you choose to be like, I'm not dying, I'm not gonna die, he fights you. All right? And dude, when he stands up out of that wheelchair and he fucking wields that scythe, it's the coolest visual ever. The first hunter. I can't type for shit. Just look at the fucking cool visual of the arena with all the flowers and the scythe, dude, and the moonlit background. Look at all the art, dude. So fucking cool. Oh my god. He's so fucking sick. um and like I said, all of the hunter fights in this game are phenomenal. Um so this is no exception. I'm gonna put Gehrman in S tier. Gehrman's fight is amazing. He's super fast, he's super aggressive. Um but like he also has all of this additional lore, like you've been talking to him throughout the entire game and now he's fighting you. It's crazy. I think I like Father Gascoigne a little better. I just like the pace and transformation of Father Gascoigne throughout the fight, but Gehrman is a really close second. He deserves S tier, I think. And to top it all off, Gehrman's fucking like soundtrack is phenomenal. Oh my god, dude, I genuinely listen to the Bloodborne soundtrack like just throughout my day. At the gym, I'm at work listening to this, I'm in the shower listening to this. It's beautiful. And it's not just the Bloodborne soundtrack. I'll listen to, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1. I'll listen to Elden Ring. They like all of these games have amazing soundtracks, but Bloodborne's soundtrack is like a different level of just orchestra, and it's a different level of instrumentation and like feeling. It's just beautiful what they were able to accomplish with this soundtrack. Like just oh my god. Oh, bro. And it's like feel the game through the soundtrack. Like what they were able to accomplish with this soundtrack, it's like they were able to convey the story through the soundtrack. Like you listen to this and it feels like Gehrman. Like listen to this. Oh my god. Like you can envision Gehrman and fighting him in his arena listening to this. Like it's so fire. It's so fucking good. Oh my god. And then, oh my god, this is not even the best part. It's this. Like, this shit is fire! Oh my god. I recently watched a video of a music composer reacting to Bloodborne soundtrack and like the other game soundtracks too, and he literally described the story arc and character of Gehrman just by listening to the soundtrack. He had never played the games before. You know, he was just looking at a few photos of the game, a few images of the games, and just listening to the soundtrack, and he was able to determine what Gehrman's whole storyline was just through this sound. He's like listening to it. He's like, wow, this really sounds like a mental battle. Like it sounds like a conflicted mind. Um, and it's like, how the fuck can you determine that with this? But that's how you know, like the composers and the people who are playing the instruments really did their job very well, because the fact that he's able to decipher that through what they're conveying through the soundtrack, it's nothing short of a masterpiece. That's enough though. I'm not a fucking music reviewer. Um, well, I could be. I could do whatever the fuck I want. But yeah, Gehrman, S tier. And then if you unlock the secret ending for Bloodborne, if you fucking eat 3 babies, I think. No, you eat. Oh wait, what is it? Is it embryos that you eat? I forgot if it's embryos or if it's oh, it's umbilical cords. That's what it is. If you eat 3 umbilical cords, you unlock the secret ending. Literally. It's you so what happens is you eat the umbilical cords of like miscarriaged great ones. Babies that were supposed to be born into godhood, but for whatever reason they miscarried. But the mother, died at birth, or maybe the baby was ripped out of their fucking stomach or whatever the fuck, whatever the case may be. You eat their um umbilical cords and you gain knowledge, you gain insight, and you become godlike as a result. And so if you've done that, you unlock the secret ending and you fight the secret boss. I have no clue what the fuck. Oh, the moon presence. That's what it's called. Presence. Oh, I typed that perfectly. Look at this. Visually stunning, by the way. The arena, the moonlight, like the blood moon in the back, how it shimmers off of him. He looks cool with all the tentacles and like the skeleton bone-like structure. Um, and you fight him in obviously a beautiful arena. Oh my god. I love the art. I love the fucking art of this game. It's so fucking cool. I love the color palette and the aesthetic. Like, it's just phenomenal. Um, the lore of this guy is cool, like how it sets him up and who he actually is. Like the moon presence, it's like it feels like he's responsible for this whole like hunter's nightmare, this whole fucking like plague and outbreak of like blood crazed like beasts and everything. It somehow feels like he's responsible, and he's also trapped Gehrman in the hunter's dream to, train other hunters and continue the hunt and do his like bidding and everything. So when he comes down from the moon, it's like you're challenging the origin of the game. You know what I'm saying? You're challenging the fucking moon presence. Like it's sick, and how it sets it up. It's great. The arena's pretty. The cutscene's pretty. He looks cool. The fight is a little lackluster, I will say, for a secret final at boss fight, especially following up Gehrman with how good of a fight that was. The final boss, the final secret boss, it's a little underwhelming with just how he attacks. He only has like one move that I can think of off the top of my mind where that's like, oh shit, this guy's interesting. And it's the move where he just takes all of your health. It sounds weird, but literally he reduces your HP to like 1 or something. But because of the rally mechanic in Bloodborne, you know how if you get hit and you hit an enemy quick enough, you gain that health back. Because of that mechanic, you can run up to him and hit him a ton of times to completely regain your health. I thought that was such a cool, interesting move when he pulled it off. But that's like the only thing I can think of that was like really cool or interesting. The other stuff that he has, it's kind of just like he fights like a beast. He kind of just like fights like Parl, if that makes sense. He kind of just swipes at you, he dashes across the arena. You know, he kind of just like fist fights you for the most part, other than that one move that I was talking about. It doesn't really make him feel special. Like, it doesn't feel like you're fighting a god right now. You know? It's weird, it's interesting. Um, it's not entirely terrible. I said he fights like Parl, but he's not on Parl's level. Or I mean, he's above Parl's level. But I wouldn't say he's anything S tier. I wouldn't say he's anything A tier either. I think I'm gonna put the final boss fight in B tier, but I'll put him at the top of B tier. I think he's the best in B tier. And with that, damn, this was a short one. This was only like an hour 30. This is a shorter one. That makes sense though, because there's only like 20 bosses in Bloodborne, which compared to fucking what Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 2 literally has double the bosses that Bloodborne has. It's crazy. But that's all. That's all that Bloodborne has. And honestly, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not asking for more bosses because quality over quantity. But as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, like you can see like there are amazing quality boss fights in this game, but there are just as many, if not more, forgettable and mid boss fights, or just straight up bad boss fights in this game as well. Um, you know, I think people look past like the quality of bosses in this game just because the vibe is amazing and the aesthetic's really cool. And don't get me wrong, it is. The aesthetic of this game is phenomenal. I've been praising it the entire time for its lore, for its look, its design, its enemy design, its boss design, its color palette, its whole like aesthetic, the whole Victorian Gothic dark sort of aesthetic. I love it. I love it all. And I think that this game, what it does the best is it has the best like atmosphere. It has the best lore. It has the best vibe. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the other games, any of the Dark Souls games, Elden Ring, Sekiro, it has the best vibes out of all of the games because it perfected that atmosphere. You know, it's so immersive, and I love it. But I think people overlook the fact that this game still has flaws because don't get me wrong, it's great and I love the aesthetic and I love a lot about it, but this game is far from perfect, all right? And one of my main gripes is the bosses. Look how many fucking D and F tier bosses we have. We have as many D tier bosses as we do S tier bosses. Like it's not good, man. um but that's besides the point. I still think Bloodborne is a phenomenal game. And like I was saying, I think it has the best aesthetic, atmosphere, like design in terms of its enemies and its like architecture and its look. It has the best like art, color palette, and or maybe not color palette, but it has the best art. And I really do think it has the best lore, even better than Elden Ring, even better than Dark Souls. I do think Bloodborne has the best lore. It has everything but the bosses going for it pretty much. It's funny. But I love this game. Um let me know what you guys think. Um, how you feel about the bosses. Did I get anything right? Did I get anything wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree with some of the things? Um, I love this game, and I'm sure the people who watch me love these games as well. So, let me know what I missed, how you feel. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Um, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.